Welcome to Your Anime Senpais. I'm Richard.
And I'm John.
And John, today we just watched the Konosuba movie, Legend of Crimson. So
that we did.
We should probably talk about it, maybe review it, right?
This would be the best time.
Yes, exactly. So let's go ahead and just give our rating right now. Did you like it?
I did really enjoy it. It wasn't perfect, but I do want to give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, I would also give it a thumbs up. There was some things that kind of threw me off, but we'll go ahead and talk about that now. So let's talk about the things that we did like, though. By the way, this is going to be the non-spoilery part. If you want to skip to the spoilers, I will have timestamp down below.
Mm-hmm.
But in any case, so John, what was one thing that you liked about the movie?
I would have to say the most evident thing going into this movie was the comedy. I would say at least 3/4 of the movie, I was at least amused or chuckling or laughing at something that was going on.
Right.
It did not disappoint for a majority of the movie on the comedy.
Yeah, I mean, if you love Konosuba and its comedy, you're gonna love the comedy in this. Like, it's just true to form, just as anything like you would see in the TV series, or I guess the manga or light novel. But it's pretty much like all there.
Oh yeah.
So definitely, if you enjoy that comedy, you'll definitely love this movie.
So, what was one thing you liked?
So I love all the characters in Konosuba. I love all of them. They're all great. But I will say Kazuma probably got more attention in this movie than he ever did in the series, in my personal opinion. Now, yeah, of course, I mean, he was definitely in the series, and he definitely made a lot of contributions and stuff, but I would say he was really the focus in this movie, for sure. Which, kind of, in a way, is weird, because this is about Megumin's village. You would think it... And she did get quite a bit of attention, too, don't get me wrong, but Kazuma was definitely front and center in this movie.
Kazuma, Megumin, and Union were kind of like the trifecta of all the attention right there.
And don't get me wrong, all the other characters had some moments too. I mean, Aqua definitely had her moments and stuff like that, and even Wiz. But like I said, Kazuma, and I think it's kind of deserved because Kazuma, I mean, he is the main character, right? He is the one that got isekai'd into this world, so. But I appreciate the fact that he got.
And even though it was called The Legend of Crimson, we did spend a fair amount of time, non-spoilery, with Megumin and different things. But for the majority of it, to me, Kazuma really just stood out.
Yes.
I mean, all the stuff that he was experiencing just had me laughing so much at all of his misfortunes.
Well, laughing with him and laughing at him too all at the same time.
That's true.
Kind of got mixed around there, but definitely. And again, like I said, I appreciate the fact that it got a lot of attention because I feel like he kind of deserves it. So, was there anything else?
Not for that. I do want to say, like, the next thing I liked, and we were going to kind of talk about this maybe more in detail for the spoilery side. I thought the movie actually had a decent balance between all the characters' time. We talked about how Kazuma and Megumin and Union were the main focus. I appreciated that, the fact that there was just enough Aqua. She was always kind of there, and there was enough darkness. She was always kind of there, to where it never lost focus with all the other characters. Everyone kind of seemed like they had a little bit of something to contribute. And, without getting too spoiler, I just like the fact that they did have that, I guess more focus on one and less on the others, because it wasn't, to me, really their story, so it wasn't that big of a thing. But I know we'll get into that a little bit more on the spoiler side.
I'll touch more on that here in a little bit, but
and that was just like the next thing that I like. So what's something else that you liked?
Honestly, animation was definitely on point on this. Kind of non-spoilery because you see this in the trailer, but when Megumin does her explosion, like, of course, it looked fantastic in the series. Don't get me wrong, but man, you could tell they were like, we're just going to take our budget, we're just going to throw it right at this explosion.
Yes,
explosion budget, if you will.
And I mean, the animation just really jumped all over the place. Like, it was great in some spots. In other spots, it was as ridiculous as it should have been to fit the scene.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, there was some parts like. Again, there were some parts where you could tell, like, I mean, even the finger motions and stuff was like, wow, they're really spending a lot for this.
or when Cosmo was frazzled, he was drawn really just childish looking or something.
But see, that fits what it needed to be.
Exactly.
So it didn't need to be like super extravagant. I mean, it was for comedic effect. So, but even still, like regardless, when it needed to look good, it looked fantastic. When it needed to look comedic, it looked comedic. So again, totally on point with the animation on this movie.
Oh yeah. So I think as far as like that's kind of like the biggest ones for my likes for this movie so far, without getting too spoilery.
Right.
So.
Well, I got a couple more here. So I talked about the animation being on point. We did talk about the comedy a little bit too, as well. Yeah. Again, comedy was definitely on point. And again, just like I don't want to talk about too spoilery, but like
that's what I'm saving all my other likes for.
Yeah, it's just like comedy was so consistent, like you were talking about. Just like man, it's like there was really I would say 90% of the movie. It was like
it was really up until like the third or fourth act that it just started. You notice it kind of tapering off.
Yeah.
But
then it would kind of pick back up again. So it's just like there would be moments where it's just like, and then it goes like, oh, okay,
yeah.
So, and then also too, we talked about Cosmo getting the spotlight, and you also mentioned how there were some other characters that did too. But I want to actually specify Union because, look. First of all, our channel is and I've said this before, it is a no union bully zone. Okay, we do not bully union on this channel. So it was nice
in that zone.
Yes, this whole thing here. But no, it was nice that she actually like got some recognition in this movie. Like we actually got to see her do a thing. We knew that she definitely had some pretty advanced skills because we saw him during the second season, which took care of the toads and whatnot. But we see it a lot more here, and it's like, all right, let's go Union.
Yeah, we definitely get a lot more backstory explained as to why maybe she turned out the way she did.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that was our likes. What do we want to talk about for our dislikes? What did you not like about this movie?
Well, without spoiling it, there was, of course, everything. You had to have the boss fight at the end. To me, the boss fight at the end really was kind of the weakest part of it for me because I know we needed to have some fights and things like that to set up, toward the Demon Lord coming and whatever, because that's a continuing story arc. But the way some of it was done and handled, just... I didn't really care for it. I almost didn't even feel it was necessary.
Right. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it up until a certain point, and then I felt like, okay, we're dragging this a little bit too much, and we'll talk about that more here during the spoilery part. But it's just like, because there was a part where it's just like, oh, okay, well, we're good, and then it's like, oh, wait, no, we're not.
Yeah, you kind of thought we were done, and then okay, we're gonna wrap up, have a nice time, and celebrate. And,
but no, apparently not. That's not what's gonna happen. I appreciated how it all resolved. And I appreciate the way that was resolved, but it's just like we could have done this a little bit sooner, but whatever.
But another dislike for you.
So. Again, we talked about the characters and stuff, and so I'll emphasize I do appreciate the fact that Kazuma got a lot of attention.
Okay.
Even Yoon and Megumin, as we talked about. But to be honest with you, Kazuma, in my opinion, kind of overshadowed most of the characters, with the exception of the two that we talked about. While most of them did have some time on screen, like with Aqua, for example, she definitely made her presence known for quite a bit of that movie, and things like that. It's just like Darkness, for example. You mentioned that you felt that she got good amount of screen time
for how she was associated with the story. I did,
right, and see that I can agree with that, but at the same time, it was just like she really didn't do a whole lot. It was just like she would be there, and she would be there for a little bit of the comedy and maybe a little bit of the action, but then after that it was just like, but as you said, she wasn't the focus. This was not her story. She was not the main focus of the story, which makes sense. But it's like, it still gave me that feeling that Cosmo just kind of really just overshadowed everybody. So
it's kind of like a like and dislike.
Yeah,
for you
kind of.
Yeah.
So, but what else you got for your dislike?
Maybe it's just for me, but I kind of thought it was a little overwhelming amount of fan service that we got kind of bombarded with. Don't get me wrong, there was a decent amount of budget put toward all the boob animation and the fact that Union had to wear the low cut stuff with everyone else, and the main villain kind of had almost everything there, and
right.
Everything was dead or alive fans. Your jiggle effects were all there. It was just kind of like, did we need all of it? But
it is Konosuba.
It is Konosuba, and there were scenes that lended toward the humor. So I was like, okay, I understand. But it was just kind of like a little, like, almost too much sometimes. It's like, okay, guys, just tone it back.
Right.
But that was just me personally.
Right.
But another dislike for you?
I think we might even have already touched on this. But so we talked about how 90% of the comedy was there. It was just nothing but comedy, just like bam, 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 bam. But the times that there wasn't comedy, kind of threw me off a little bit. Kind of messed with the pacing. I think you mentioned that while we were at the theater. But you kind of just messed with the pacing a little bit because it's like, oh, ha, ha, ha. But then it was just like, oh, okay. We're going in a different direction, but then then the comedy would pick up again. It's like, oh, okay. I mean, I guess it can't all be laughs and everything like that, but it did kind of throw me off a little bit too. And it's not really a big complaint. It's just more like a warning for you all. Like, don't expect it all to be laughs all the time. There are some parts where it's just like, okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean, the pacing was just odd in some points, and that was my thing. I mean, I understood it. We're trying to set up for the next, gag or joke, or whatever. Things were set up pretty decently in Konosuba fashion. I mean, I can't really say that it strayed from that formula, but there was just some of it that I was like, did we really need that?
Right.
Would that have helped the story?
Right. And actually, I'll touch on that a little bit here in a few minutes when we get to the spoilers and stuff.
Because I was gonna say that's really, without going into spoilers, that's all the dislikes I really had for the movie.
Yeah, same here. So I believe from this point forward, we're going to talk about spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie, go ahead and click away, or if you have seen the movie, then or if you don't mind spoilers, then by all means, we'll go ahead and continue on. All right, so now the spoilers, John. So let's talk about the things that we liked about the movie going into the spoilers here. So what was one spoiler thing that you liked?
I mean, I kind of just want to recap what we did talk about a little. Well, for mine anyway, the likes. And I'll just start at the first part of the movie. Union wants a baby.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Had me rolling. And Cosmo's reaction.
Yeah, Cosmo's like, okay.
I mean, and I'm just gonna kind of combine two of my likes in one with that. It was his lucky week or time or whatever he kept saying all through the movie.
Yeah.
It was so great.
Yeah.
I was just rolling almost. I wasn't in tears. Don't get me wrong, but it was just because all the other girls were like, "Wait, you never accept missions,
right?"
and and that was part of the thing where I thought they had a decent amount of screen time because they were always there to like rein back Cosmo. It was like, whoa.
Right.
But Union and I'll bring up more scenes in the future. But yeah, that was a big like for me just right off the bat in the movie.
I can agree with that too. But actually, in terms of I guess relationships, maybe. So if you're a type of person that likes shipping characters, of course we had that. Going with him and Union, although that was kind of short-lived because, she realized that
second page of the letter was a story.
Yeah, it was a fake. In fact, pretty much both letters were kind of fake.
Yeah, her dad's like, "Oh, that's just how you start off letters."
Yeah, like I'm going to die soon. Like that's not how you start off letters. And I liked how Cosmo was like, "You mean I'm gonna punch your father in the face? Is that okay?" Or no, Union. That was Union. Yeah, Union. Can I punch your father in the face? And she was like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
But anyways, but if you're a person that likes, shipping characters and whatnot, so Cosmo had a lot of great scenes. already talked about Union, but he also had a little bit of a scene with Megumin, which is one of the parts that I was that kind of threw me off because at first it started off kind of comedic, like, oh, why don't you stay in bed with me, Megumin, or whatever, and he's kind of like teasing her or whatever. But eventually she kind of like got serious about it and was like, oh, what? So it did throw me off, but again, like if you're somebody that likes shipping characters and whatnot, then I think that is something that you would like.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So at least I think you. Somebody brought this up at the theater too. We were after we were done watching. Apparently, there are some characters that may or may not get together. He wasn't able to confirm that, but you could potentially see that in this movie. So I get,
or in the light novel, I think is what he was.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He heard it from people that read the light novel, and if you have read the light novel, please don't spoil us. But like, apparently there are some characters that get together, so and you can kind of see it in this movie potentially. So
that's very true. Yeah.
If it is true, I don't. I haven't confirmed it. I'm just gonna wait until we get it animated and stuff like that. So, in case, what was another thing that you liked?
I'm just gonna kind of keep going with the kind of the Megumin, shipping thing or whatever with the family's interaction. Like whenever they found out he was going to be coming into 300 million, he had the mansion. Mother had to step in,
right?
And her sleep magic, she knocked out everybody.
She got kind of crazy, like
little over the top with all that. I mean, the first time, it was kind of funny because Cosmo was kind of slow about it. He's like, okay, so what's going on?
Right.
And then by the time she escaped and the second time happened, Cosmo got smarter. He iced over the window and made it cold in there.
I actually thought it was the mother that did that, but then I forgot. Then I remembered that he actually does have the ability to do that thing.
And I thought the same thing until he used the ice magic on her. And she's like, "Oh, are you trying to get me to cuddle with you?"
Yeah.
and then it was cut short by Sylvia-san attacking.
Yeah.
But I really just like that part. Even a little cringy, very well animated, like hand massaging, tickling moment was so hilarious. But
and he had just the look on his face as he was doing it too was just like, that would not be something I would want to wake up to. Doesn't matter who you are. I don't think I would want to wake up to that.
Exactly. But another like?
So another like is I like the fact that we got to see Megumin's village. And Union's village too.
That's true.
I mean, we knew going in these people were going to be crazy because, I mean, look at Megumin. Union is actually, I think she actually is normal, but she's been influenced by her village to act the way that she does. But Megumin definitely is. I'm not going to say she's crazy because she does have her normal side too, but the way that she acts, like all like, I guess flamboyant or chuny, I think is the word. But of course, the whole village is just like that. Even the baker was just like, "Yes, I'm the best baker in this entire
master of yeast."
Yeah, master of yeast. It's just like, okay.
And what was it? They couldn't decide on if they wanted to actually destroy the minions of the Dark Lord because they were like, we could destroy them or we could make it into a tourist attraction.
Right, exactly.
And I was like, how does that work out?
Yeah.
And then you see the reign of of magic on the countryside. And you're just like, everyone was laughing because it was so over the top extravagant.
Yes.
But it was great. Fun times.
But yeah, it was just nice to see their village, and we'd already talked about Megumin's parents and how crazy they were, especially the mother. Yeah. Even the little sister was adorable, and it was funny how she actually got all the glory of killing Sylvia at the very end because Cosmo was just all like, "Okay, Sylvia, I'm sorry, but we just gotta," and then she just pulls the trigger. It's like, oh.
And then she like walks up into the explosion.
Right, and she does the whole like chuny thing. It's like, oh, you see what you did. But anyways, anything else?
I mean, maybe another like as far as like just individual character moments. I honestly liked Darkness's complete and utter just. She almost like shut down once she found out there was no more male ogres.
Oh right, yeah, yeah.
And it was so funny to me because I was like, that was what we're worried about here,
right?
And she like, what was it? She passed out or just shut down. And
yeah,
I was like,
much.
at this crucial moment in Cosmo's life,
right?
to protect his honor,
right?
She was just gone.
You know, it's funny too, though, that they said that the male orcs were extinct or whatever, but like, you've got the goblins there, so couldn't they just? Because I actually thought the male goblins, I guess, were actually male orcs, but they ended up being goblins. But I was just like, well, why don't they just grab them and then they can do their things? There's like a billion of them, and there's a billion of the orcs. Just there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I know it's all for comedic purposes, whatever. But at the same time, I was just like, I mean, yeah.
I just thought it was funny. As soon as they teleported, you just saw him running for his life.
Right. I was just like, what is going on? And then I saw a bunch of creatures running after just him, and I was like, oh, okay, I think I know where this is going. And then we saw like the underwear type thing that they were wearing. I was just like, oh, Kazuma. One thing too, you missed this because at the beginning or before the movie started, we saw the voice actor and voice actress for Megumin and Kazuma, and the voice actress for Megumin, Takahashi Rei. She actually mentioned like this movie was the first time where she actually felt sorry for Kazuma, and I was just like, well, what could possibly happen to Kazuma that she would actually feel sorry for? And now I know exactly what she was talking about. Like, okay, that's. I felt bad for him too, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
but yeah.
So I mean, I just really enjoyed the whole, like I said, darkness scene, the female orcs. That whole scene had me laughing. Just, so crazy.
Well, as we said, the comedy was on point for this.
Yeah,
this whole thing.
Especially, I mean, the beginning started so strong. So, I mean, right out the gate, Union was there like, we need to have a baby, and it just hit so fast. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And it just never let go for like the longest time as far as like the comedy.
Actually, the beginning, the very beginning, started off slow. Because it was just a couple goats just hanging out, and then this toad, the giant toad, comes up and just eats one of them, and then we see an explosion in the background. It's like, oh, okay. And then this is the part I think where you walked in is they were talking about how the tuna, I guess for that river or whatever, pretty much the tuna is going to go extinct, all because Megumin used her explosion, and so they're all sitting at the table just like. Kind of just have that dejected look on their faces, like, oh no, we just caused a really huge disaster, and then I think Cosmo was yelling at Megumi. He's like, "This is all your fault," and whatever.
Yeah. I think whenever I did come in, because I did come in late.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think I remember something like that, a bar scene kind of going on, and they were at the center of something.
Right, and and it was like I said, they pretty much caused tuna to go extinct, at least for that river. Then at that point is when Union came in, and she's like, "Hey, Cosmo, I need you.
Need to have a baby with you.
Yeah, I need to have a baby with me, or whatever.
Or I want to have your baby. I don't know. Yeah, something like that, to where it just shocked him. Like, okay,
yeah,
right now,
sure." And he actually started to take off his clothes. And
actually, that was funny. Whenever Aqua like snuck over in the background, and put his pants back.
Right. On. Yeah. Once she realized that the letters were fake, but anyways, that. That was good. That was pretty good.
Another like?
So I liked how the old researcher was once again involved, because I didn't even expect him. I didn't even expect him to be in this movie. But apparently they're just kind of throwing a bunch of characters in this movie, which we'll talk about here in a minute.
He's a very vital character.
Apparently so, which I do like the fact that he was the one that pretty much created the Crimson Mages or whatever. I mean, just like, this guy has his hands in everything. It's like,
oh yeah, he was just like playing it up like, yeah, they wanted like red eyes and tattoos.
Right,
and
yeah.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, whatever.
And then they started doing this stuff, and and I don't mind it either. And
Right? Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, and anything that goes wrong in I bet you that the Demon Lord was probably created by him too somehow. Somehow.
Actually, he is the Demon Lord. What are you?
Well,
talking
no,
about?
he's dead.
Oh,
Yeah. Or unless unless his spirit got resurrected, that'd be interesting. His spirit got resurrected and became the Demon King. Although, didn't the Demon King already exist when he came into the world?
Probably. He was probably brought over there like the other, like Cosmo and others.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, in any case, it's just still anything else that seems to go wrong in this world, he's got his hands in, which is hilarious. But like, there was the part where they were trying to find the secret weapon or whatever, and they were reading the text, and Cosmo's like, "Oh, this is in Japanese." Is at that moment where I was just like, "Oh no, I think I know where this is going." And then the guy that was not John, but the other person that we were with, that's sitting next to me, he was just like, "Yup, this is going exactly where you're thinking." I was like, "Oh," and then sure enough, there he was. But in any case, any other likes that you want to talk about?
Likes. I do have to just mention the villain, basically Sylvia, because I did like her. I did. Yeah. I enjoyed her character up until the second half of the boss fight.
Yeah.
Now we can talk about that a little bit more.
I liked her character up before even the boss fight, up until.
Well, yeah, when they first met her, when she was like, darkness was holding them back and stuff.
Right.
And, I think I liked her more whenever she interrupted Kazuma and Megumin's, cold room or whatever.
Yeah.
They run out and Cosmo's just like over the top mad, like, "You ruined this for me." And
she's like, "Did I interrupt something?" And they like Cosmo's like, "Yes, you did." And Megumin's like, "No, you didn't." She's all blushing and everything too.
And of course she blocks the sword with like her hand or something.
Right. Yeah.
And she's like, "Are you really the one that defeated those guys?"
Right, yeah.
And, of course, he's like, "Well, I just thought you'd put a bounty on my head if I told you my real name."
Right.
But just from there on, even the moments where he was, like, basically just stuck in his boobs, and he was, like, going through it all, like, Aqua and all of them just, like, maybe I don't get the attention I deserve. Maybe I'll just, leave and turn sides and
right.
and all this other stuff. And I was like, "Come on, Cosmo, what are you doing right now? Are you that easy to get,
yeah.
give into the
And he
other
was
side?"
like sniffing her too all the whole time it was happening. Yeah. Like every time, like every other
why
sentence.
Are you breathing so deeply, darling? Or breathing so heavily?
Yeah, right.
Like he even had his arms open for the tentacles to come take him.
He was just like the tentacles were just coming her down, and then he was just like,
and even all the girls were just like,
"What are you?
Did he just let himself get taken?"
Right. And then like just the way that he was positioned was just perfect. Like everything, I guess, fit. But anyways, I didn't have any other likes.
No, I was gonna say that was kind of my last one because that kind of leads to a dislike.
Yeah, dislike. Which I'm just gonna say, quote here: "Hey, why do I feel something poking me in the butt?" So yeah, that whole reveal was just like, oh, because like Sylvia had mentioned like, "Oh yeah, I know the feelings of both men and women." And at that point, I was just like, "Oh, it's a trap."
And it was funny because Cosmo was like, "Say that again?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, well, I am was it a growth chimera or something like that?" And I was like, "What does that have to do with any of that at all?" And she's like,
Sylvia's a mix of everything, apparently.
And he was like, "Oh, and I just got these not too long ago." And
because they seemed like they would feel great or something. And it's just like, oh, yeah.
And at that point, things went wrong in Cosmo's life.
Yeah. He
didn't have such a good week or whatever time.
Yeah, his time was just, it was no longer his time. Yeah, so. Any dislikes?
Poor Cosmo. I do want to talk about the second part of the boss fight.
Oh, yes, yeah.
That was a really big... there were things I liked about it. Mm-hmm. I did like the fact that we got a couple explosions in. We got to see the mega budget, animation over the top, explosions being done. But once they defeated Sylvia, I think they should have just let it go.
Yeah.
I think they had a pretty good resolution. Maybe they didn't get all the explosions off that they wanted to, but there wasn't an explanation as to why she and the other two came back.
Hans and Beldia.
Yeah, there wasn't an explanation as to why they came back as some kind of water demon or ooze demon.
Well,
or the ooze ate them and turned into whatever.
Yeah, Hans is actually an ooze demon or whatever. He's a slime.
Okay.
Yeah, he is a slime.
But never understood,
yeah,
never explained like
that just
why.
Kinda, yeah, it just kind of just happened. Like, oh, suddenly they're back. And that kind of leads me to my other dislike too, is that so I felt like they shoehorned a lot of different characters just because of the fact that this is the one and only Konosuba movie, and they need to bring back old favorites for whatever reason, such as Hans and Beldia. And, that's fine, but as we're talking about right now, it did kind of drag the plot on just a little bit too much. Like,
yeah.
There was really no need for them to be there.
At that point, I was like, wait, why are they back?
And it kind of, it's another thing that I'm just now thinking about too. When they all three of them came back as the one big mass of whatever, like the whole theater kind of fell silent, and I was just like, I kind of got that feeling like everybody in the theater was just like, what is going on? Why does this keep? Why are we still here? Why are we still doing
Because really,
this?
I was actually waiting for an explanation. Like I saw them drag Sylvia down into the lake water, whatever she was
river,
walking across.
River Styx. I think.
Yeah, basically that. And I was like, okay, well, they're dragging her down. She's dead.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
I actually felt sorry for her too. It was just like, oh, well, that's unfortunate. But...
yeah, because she was walking across it to go see her friends.
No, she was trying to walk away from it. She was trying because she was like,
maybe I misread.
No, she was like, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And then they dragged her down, and it was like, oh, well, that's unfortunate. But then she came back. I was like, oh.
Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
Don't get me wrong. Like the water effects in her hair were cool.
Right.
Evidently she lost more clothing, even though she wasn't wearing much to begin with, or he. Either way, yeah. So by their powers combined, they turned into who knows what, and but it also did lead to a scene I did kind of like, was where Cosmo's like, I've got a way to beat her. And he goes up and kind of distracts her, and he's like, taking off his cape or whatever, cap, throws it off,
right?
And she's like, just kind of acknowledges him, and she's like, and he makes some kind of statement where he's like, "You've always shined to me," or something. Right.
The moment I laid my eyes on you, you were always shining.
Yeah.
Basically, like a confession.
And then they start finishing each other's sentences like, "I love you, so much."
Yeah. And then
the tentacles come back again.
But yeah, I mean, as I said, I appreciate how it ended, but it did drag on the fight a little bit too long. Like they should have just ended it with that explosion, and then just be done with it.
I mean, having the extended fight did give us the Cosmo scene I talked about. The young girl scene where she hit the sniper rifle.
Right. Yeah, Megumin's little sister.
Yeah, because the explosion was it filled the gun. Actually, that was the first death, wasn't it?
Kameko.
Actually, that was the first death, wasn't it? Whenever they used a sniper rifle.
No, that was the second.
Oh, was it the second one?
Yeah, because it went right through both of them.
So I thought that was Megumin and Union side by side.
Well, okay, so no, the first death. Megumi and Union, they did the explosion. Or no.
See, that's
what I guess that was the first death when they did the double explosion. But then the second one, she did an explosion
and it got sucked in by the gun.
Yeah. How did she get the power for the second explosion though?
See, that's why I thought the second one. That's why I thought the second one was like the townspeople giving all their energy while Kazuma distracted them. And while they were being hit by both attacks, Cosmo looks up at Sylvia and he's like, "I love you," and she's like, "I love you too." And then they both like strike through her. I thought.
Okay.
Maybe I'm remembering wrong, but it was so weird. Like either one of those deaths was so weird.
The townspeople giving the power was to Megumi and Union, and then that's when they did the lance explosion shot.
Yeah.
And then I think that's when she died the first time, and then the second time with the sniper.
Okay.
I thought.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, but it was so, like, it was just, for whatever reason, it was those scenes I thought that fight was really extended.
Yeah.
Other than that, I didn't really feel a reason to even like that part of the fight. And yeah, it didn't add anything good to the fight. Like it didn't. I don't know. There wasn't any key parts of the fight where I was like, "Oh no, they're in additional danger. Or they're gonna die, or whatever."
Right. It was just more like, oh.
I mean, don't get me wrong, Cosmo did die.
Yeah.
But
we didn't actually get to see like, because we saw what's her name, Eris. Like she was looking at him in the chair,
vomiting rainbows.
but she vomited rainbows. Like, what did you see?
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing it was just like a pile of mush or something after he was blasted through.
But the thing is, though, like every time he's gone to that realm, he's always gone back as himself. Like he's never been like decapitated or whatever. It's just Cosmo.
Yeah.
In his tracksuit, and that's it. And then she would just send him back. But I guess he was hit so bad that when he went to be resurrected, he still was in that shape or form or whatever. I don't know. But
I mean, as far as dislikes, like I said, it was kind of those things.
And really, it didn't. Any of those dislikes really didn't detract from the movie too much. Like I still enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
As a whole, it's just just had those just kind of minor complaints. Really, is what it was.
Yeah. I mean, and that was the main thing. There wasn't, like when I mentioned the overwhelming fan service for me, even if I did talk about spoilers where it was like Sylvia and the different things they had to do for whatever, yeah, I mean, there was nothing really to spoil with that. I mean, like, it was just there. So,
yeah.
Any additional dislikes?
No.
Okay.
I think we pretty much hit it. Like I said, I mean, there were even the dislikes that I did have was just kind of minor in retrospect. Like, I mean,
so if you were to recommend this movie, would you recommend it?
If you enjoyed the Konosuba series, like seasons 1 and 2 and the OVs and all that, if you enjoyed those things, then I feel like you should be able to enjoy this movie, despite the minor minor dislikes, I guess, that we had. But I mean, if you haven't watched Konosuba, I mean, you could probably still enjoy this because there's still a lot of funny things that happen. But I feel like you get, of course, a lot more out of it if you are familiar with the characters and whatnot. So, how about yourself? Would you recommend this?
Couldn't have said it better. Like, if you're a Konosuba fan, what are you doing? Get out there and watch it.
Exactly.
If not, you kind of need to know the background of the characters. You'll probably enjoy it, but you probably won't know what the background is as to why people are doing what they're doing.
Right.
Darkness will definitely throw you off. Like, what?
Why is she acting like this? Yeah. Why did she suddenly faint?
Yeah.
But in any case, well, I guess we'll end it there. So, guys, what did you all think of the Konosuba movie? Have you watched it? Let us know down in the comments below.
And if you enjoyed this review, hit that like button down there and subscribe to our channel as well. And the notification bell beside to keep up with our channel and all the content we do put out each week. And we'll see you in the next video.